Yeah. Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro Fan. Tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro Fan. Tune into the program. Pro Fan. Tune into the program. Pro Fan. Tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
Yo, what do everybody? It's your boy John Altidor, Pro Fan Sports Podcast, back at you with another one. My boys Vlad and Barry, and today our guest couldn't make it. Hopefully I'll make it next time, but we got some things to talk about. You know, football is back. Firstly, the Celtics are coming back as well, in about 14 days. So about 14 days out before training camp starts, and these guys, will start on preseason, but football is back. Obviously, we're talking about the Patriots. And so far, we're at 1-1. The Patriots they lost the first week to Miami. I believe the score was 7-20. And as of yesterday, which was the 18th, faced the Steelers. And we took that game 17-14 at the Steelers' home. I forgot the name of the stadium because I know it's not Heinz Stadium anymore. What you guys know the name of that stadium now? It's like Cryptic or something like that. Some weird stuff, man. But it's no longer the Heinz Field it was?
Heinz Field. That's what it formed was. It's
formerly Heinz Field.
It's at a Cruise Shore Stadium. Acrisure.
Yeah, that's it. Acrisure Stadium.
Acrisure, yeah.
I don't know what the hell that means, but regardless,
it's either I don't know what company that is and like what they do. So no, I'm not familiar with them either.
Yeah, regardless, we had Mac Jones out there, starting quarterback for the Patriots, and then those guys had Mitch Trubisky. So, you can conclude what you want with that right there. But, the game was a little sloppy. We came out with the win. But how do you guys feel about the game?
Vlad's on mute. I don't know if he realized.
This feels weird, just not having a guess, but I don't know. I think, first game, the team was terrible. The play calling on offense was terrible. Second game, at first I didn't think there was really an improvement on the play calling on offense, but I feel as the game go on, as we started running the ball more, there was more play action involved. They got Kendrick Bourne involved more, but it still felt like a sloppy kind of game. It didn't feel like this nice flowing game where you know what to expect. Even through the play calling, I just felt like I didn't feel this flow of the game that I usually see with the Patriots game. You know what I'm trying to say? I think there was some really nice plays, especially the touchdown. That was a really nice play. I thought that was going to be another pick, to be honest. I didn't think he was going to go up and try to catch the ball like that, but seeing that was really nice. And to me, what was the more impressive part was, how they close out the game. Just that 13-play, 6 minutes, eating up the clock. I just thought, like, running the ball that effectively, the offensive line was better. Cole Strange was better. I just thought there was improvement as far as running the ball and controlling the tempo of the game. I thought there was some improvement there. But you can tell this is a work in progress. This is not a complete team. This is not a team that I expect to make the playoff. This is not a team that I expect to be competing for a playoff spot. I think this is a work in progress, and We squeak a win by, but I don't know if I'm expecting much from us.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, I wasn't too impressed of the win. It was a solid, win on the road. Pittsburgh's always been, one of those tough teams to play when you're playing in their stadium, and and have to travel over there and and play against them. They always play hard and compete on both sides of the ball, particularly on defense. Even without T.J. Watt not being there, they're still a pretty tough defense to go against and tough, matchup for our offense, since they, have pretty good, players on that side who can, certainly, make plays as we saw yesterday. But, it definitely, there was some good and some bad parts. Obviously, the, good parts were, I liked what, we saw from the offensive line. At least it was better than week one. I mean, week one was pretty disastrous from the O-line, and I thought they were better this week than they were last week. I thought they, did a good job in pass protection. I don't think Matt got sacked, this game. So they did a good job of giving him enough time or more time to throw than they did against Miami. And certainly they were pretty, good in the running game, as we saw on, in the fourth quarter to close the game out. They did a pretty good job of being able to get, enough push and create those holes and, running lanes for, the backs to be able to, run through and be able to keep the chains moving and keep, possession of, the ball for, for the amount of time that they did to close out that game. I thought Mac was okay. He, definitely had some balls that, that he missed pretty badly and that, weren't accurate, but he threw some, good balls as well. And, particularly to, Jacoby Myers and Nelson Aguilar, who I thought were outstanding and spectacular. Both of them really stepped up and played, some really good football for us. And particularly Nelson Aguilar, that was an impressive touchdown where he just went up and mossed the dude. I didn't think he had that in him. We haven't seen him make a play like that as a Patriot. So that was definitely by far the best play in his best game that he's had with the Patriots, to this point. So, hopefully we see that more from him. But I really like what I saw from the defense. I get, they're going against a Steelers offense that's really average at best and not, not that good, in particular with the quarterback, Mitch Trubisky. He's middle of the pack and average quarterback, to say the least. I'm sure that's probably being nice, but I thought they played pretty well defensively. They didn't, commit any penalties from what I can recall and remember, and the coverage was pretty good. They were able to get stops when they need to, and they really did a good job on slowing down their running game and keeping that in check against Najee Harris, and they didn't allow too many big plays. They kept everything in front of them. So I certainly like what what I saw from, the defense yesterday as well. So it was, it was a good team win. I'll give them that. It was nice to actually for them to get a win on the road, win one of the first two and not come back home 0-2. So I'm certainly glad to hear about that. But it's just, I know it was slightly better than what we saw, but, and I know they still have a ways to go and we have a long season ahead, but it's just like kind of what Vlad said, it's just hard to really get excited about this team because, this is not good enough football to really be competitive in the AFC and to really, be a playoff, contending team, or at least, be in the hunt for a playoff spot. So, I mean, hopefully they can prove us wrong, and that will change as the season go along. We'll see what happens. But, there's still a lot of questions and uncertainty, and things that are, that you're concerned about with this team that they still haven't answered quite yet. So hopefully they do. We'll see how this team does moving forward against Baltimore next week.
Yeah, I think you made a lot of points, what you were saying, Barry. I think for me, it's inconclusive. I still don't know what's really going on. I think, it's a nice win, because any win against a Mike Tomlin coach team is big, because Mike Tomlin, if he can do anything, he can coach. The guy has a winning record, and I think he's one of the only coaches, in history that just has a winning record overall. Like he rarely doesn't have a winning record, no matter what his teams look like. So, at the end of the year,
he hasn't had a losing season yet.
Right.
With the Steelers, right? He's been at least 500 or better every year, right?
Right. So, his teams are going to compete, regardless of injuries or whatever they got going on, his teams are going to compete. But like Vlad was saying, I really don't know where we're at, offensively. It seems like nobody's really on the same page, right? They did a better job this week. But again, Devontae Parker, in 2 games has 1 catch, I believe. He hasn't been able
to catches yesterday. I know he had 1 catch against Miami. He
didn't have any catches yesterday. No.
Really?
So up to this point, he's had 1 catch.
That's crazy.
I don't believe the tight ends got any catches yesterday. Right.
Well, they didn't really throw to him. They weren't a big part of the game plan in the offense.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like I don't know what we're doing. We're not really utilizing guys. We're not really spreading the ball out. It looks like, Mac last year, even as a rookie, he looked a lot more comfortable playing in the offense than he does this year. And I think obviously, we've been harping on this whole offseason, the new offensive coordinators. During the game, they were talking about Brian Hoyer, Matt Patricia, he's giving out the calls, but, Brian Hoyer is involved. And in my mind, it's like, why the fuck is Brian Hoyer involved in anything, right? He's a backup quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he knows the plays. Why are we talking about Brian Hoyer doing anything? It's supposed to be, offensive coordinator, making the calls, you know what I'm saying? But like Vlad was saying, it looked better yesterday for sure. But at the same time, we're not going to survive with throwing Myers the ball pretty much every other play and then heaving the ball to Devontae or, Nelly on the sideline. You know what I'm saying? Like 2 weeks in a row, Mac Jones tried to get the ball to Devontae Parker. The ball got picked. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of predictability. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I was going to agree with you.
Yeah, it's just like I think, some of that stuff is on Mac, not connecting and not making the right pass or, throwing the ball on his back foot. But, I'm when I watch the games, I'm not impressed with anything. I'm not overly impressed with anything. I think that last drive, they definitely did their thing to close the game. He had the ball for like over 6 minutes, ran the ball the whole time. I think Mac had 2 passes that whole drive, and we actually, burned out the clock and didn't give him another chance to actually come back and do anything in the game. Gunnar Olszewski gifted us a fumble. Well, we got our lone touchdown, I believe. We got 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, we got a touchdown. That was the Damian Harris touchdown.
Right.
That's actually the best
Damian Harris and
Gunnar has made for the Patriots.
So far. You know what I'm saying? I saw a lot of jokes.
That's a good one so far, right? He can still make better plays for us in the future, but we appreciate him helping us out on that one and giving us that gift. So we appreciate you, Gunnar.
Yeah, I mean, I like Gunnar. I saw a lot of jokes yesterday, but, you know, he was a Pro Bowl returner for us at some point. So I thought that was uncharacteristic.
Was overrated? Gunnar?
Nah, I mean, at what he does, I mean, as a returner, I thought he did his thing when he was with the Patriots, and I thought that was uncharacteristic for him to muff that ball there, you know, right in front of I think Brandon Schuler or something like that.
Yeah,
or
Schuler was
whatever his name is.
Recovered the fumble.
I was happy about the defense, I felt better about what happened last week against, Steelers this week, right? Because we barely let up anything. And, it says that the defense is somewhat legit. The corners are holding their own. Overall, I mean, it's not very, very impressive win whatsoever, but a win's a win. And, defense did their thing. And, defense is not the problem here. That's what I'm saying. Defense is definitely not the problem. They can hold it. They can keep us in games, but the offense really got to come around. I did see a stat, like Max played like 20-something games, and, we're averaging like 20 points or something like that, and that's not going to cut it in the NFL. Like, you gotta play better than that. Offensive line did better. They were missing T.J. Watt on the defense, but, they still sacked Joe Burrow like 7 times last week. So, at least there was improvement on that front. But, again, overall, not very impressed with the wins. It's a lot of sloppy ball out there, man. It's really sloppy.
Yeah.
And, if it continues like that, hopefully, this is something that we're learning, we're improving every week. But if it continues like that, like Vlad said, I don't see us winning too many games, man.
Well, the question is, right, so you're saying if we improve every week, and I agree with that, but how do you improve against the Ravens? How do you improve against the Packers? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the Ravens can put up points. Can we put up points like those guys? That's what we have next week. The Packers can put up points. Can we put up points like those guys? Like, it's, you know what I mean? It's hard to improve when you suck so bad and trying to get better as a team. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's one thing I can say, the defense, again, has been doing this thing, right? And I think we can score on those teams because, as you can see, Miami putting up all those points on them,
42,
and they're pretty depleted on defense over there themselves. So I don't think, scoring should be a big problem for us. But at the same time, if we can't string plays together, like, our team is a team, like, once you go up 20 on us, we're not going to win the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not a team that's going to come back.
We're not a comeback kind of team.
No, no. We're front runners, and you're not going to keep Lamar Jackson, and the skill players, at bay for a whole game. Lamar Jackson himself is probably going to score at least 2 touchdowns, with his abilities alone. And, our defense is nice, but it's like, if you really think about our defense, who are people scared of? Matt Judon? It's like,
it's nice, but it's not elite.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
of course
people
it's
really
not.
scared.
Right.
Like, nobody's really scared of this, I mean, they brought momentum from the offseason into the season, where they've been doing all right. As right now they haven't let up more than 20 points, which is pretty good, But at the same time, I don't think we faced, like, the highest powered offense so far.
Miami, look at Miami's offense, and we held them to 14 points. So if we can
Miami
and stop Miami's offense to 14 points, what can we stop the Ravens offense? I get, they have Lamar Jackson. We know how great he is and what he brings to the table. But outside of him, and they have Mark Andrews, who's a pretty good tight end, one of the best tight ends in the league. But outside of those 2 guys, there's really no one else that scares me on that offense, but besides Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews. So, like, I think this defense will be able to at least hold its own and keep, the Pats, in the game like they've done the first 2 weeks. I feel a lot more confident in the defense. But like you said, guys, we don't know what we're going to get from the offense because they're still trying to figure things out because it's a brand new offense that they're running. And I don't think Mac is really comfortable as of yet, running this offense and has a good enough grasp of, of this offense. I feel like he's got a little better last, yesterday, but, he, doesn't really look too confident when he's out there trying to, run this offense because it's brand new to him as well as the rest of the guys on there. So it's going to take a little while for them to be able to really click and get going offensively. But, I think, so crazy as it sounds, at least next week's game against the Ravens is a winnable game. Like, I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but I think, it wouldn't surprise me if they keep it close and somehow pull off, the upset, against, the Ravens. But I know a lot obviously will have to do with how the defense plays and if they can be able to slow down and keep Lamar Jackson and, that offense in check, which they certainly have a chance to do if they're able to do what they did against Miami in week 1.
So did you just put high-powered offense in Miami in the same sentence?
Well, they have a pretty good offense.
They did their thing yesterday. They did their thing yesterday.
They got some high-end talent, some elite players.
What I'm saying is, you can't really
big-time plays, as we just saw yesterday. Yeah, the Ravens' defense is suspect.
What I'm saying is, you saw only one game they've been able to do that in. You know what I'm saying? They weren't able to do that against the Patriots. So I don't know if we can call them a high-powered offense yet until they do this stuff multiple times.
Whereas the Ravens, they have Lamar Jackson, who's a seasoned quarterback compared to Tua. Tua had a good game yesterday, and that was impressive. I did not expect to see that from Tua himself. Can I bet on Tua to do that every week? I don't know, but I've seen Lamar Jackson do that on multiple weeks. And if you think I don't see us beating the Ravens. I don't. What Miami did yesterday was very impressive. I really did not expect that because I was watching, the Patriots game and the Ravens game was being updated at the bottom, and I was like, oh wow, the Ravens are killing the Dolphins. And then after the Patriots game, they put the Ravens game on, and I was like, whoa, what is going on right here?
Yeah,
and that was very impressive by Miami.
Yeah.
Do I think the Patriots can have what it takes to beat the Ravens? No, not right now. I cannot say that. I think Lamar Jackson is going to be too much. We had Tom Brady. Didn't they beat us with Tom Brady, or did we beat them that year?
No, the Ravens does.
They beat us several times with Tom Brady.
Yeah. So I don't expect us to be able to hang in there with the Ravens. And if I'm looking forward, even with the Packers, I don't even think we can hang with the Packers.
It has to be really ugly games. Like, the defense has to muck up the games. They gotta force fumbles. They gotta force interceptions in order for us to have a chance. Because again, with Mac at the helm, he has not scored over 20 points in majority of the games he's played so far. And that's a question for you guys. Are you guys? Is Mac the guy? Do you guys think Mac is the guy?
I like Mac, and I think he's. I like Mac. I think he has what it takes. I think he has good decision-making abilities. I think what's really fucking with Matt right now is the fact that he has a new system, offensive coordinator that's not really an offensive coordinator. He's not an offensive guy. They're trying this new system where he's making decisions that he didn't make last year. He made more mistake in the first game this year than he made in most of the games last year. He made 9 mistakes in the first game compared to some of the games last year where he made, like, I don't know, 2-3 mistakes. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
so I
corrected
think
right away.
Yeah, so I just think the way that he's being coached right now, that's what's problematic. I have confidence in Mac. I have confidence in him. I have confidence that he can grow. I have confidence that he can get better. Is he getting the coaching to get better? That I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that's certainly a good question, John, that you bring up as far as whether Mac Jones is the right guy or is he a, franchise quarterback in this league. And I think that, it's too early to tell. I think it's still, really, I don't think it's the right time to really be able to have that question answered or to find out whether he's the right guy, just because, I feel as though, he doesn't have, the right people around him, like, the right offensive, coaches. He doesn't, have, he has good, players around him, but he doesn't have, like, high-end talent for him to, to work with offensively. So I think, for us to really find out whether he's the right guy or not, I'm sure it's not going to happen this year, but they're going to have to put, more around him, from a talent standpoint and from a coaching standpoint. Like, you can't tell whether Matt's the right guy or any quarterback's the right guy if Matt Patricia and Joe Judge are running your offense and, and calling the plays. Like, that's, you're not really going to find out too much, from, with any quarterback being in that situation. So, like Mac Jones as well, he's shown, some good things and also some bad things or things that, he needs to be able to work on and improve on. He's still really young, so he still certainly has a good amount of time to, be able to see, whether he can be able to get better at those things he needs to, get better at and take and really, establish and prove himself to be a franchise starting quarterback in this league. But I think we might not see that this year. I think that, maybe, next year 3 is usually when we, see with the quarterback. I get year 2 is a big year for a quarterback. Year 3 is usually when we see whether a guy is, a quarterback is a legit, franchise quarterback and whether he can be the guy. So we'll see how, the season goes on for him. But, yeah, I think it's too early to say whether he's the right guy or not, at this point in time.
Yeah. I think you all know I've been a Mac guy from the beginning, from drafting until now. I would say certainly he's so far, he's the best out of the crop of quarterbacks that came out, the last year. So, we saw what happened to Trey Lance and stuff like that. So we know, he's holding his own right now. And I agree with Vlad, man. Offensive coordination is a big deal. And hopefully, either Matt Patricia really grows or, this is something Bill was just trying out for this year. And next year we get somebody legit to come in there, and do what they got to do. But, next week we got the Ravens coming and hopefully we see some more improvements with the offense. And, there's not much more to talk about as far as the Patriots. So, I don't know if you guys had a last point to make, but we can wrap this up.
I just had one more question. Two questions. One is, what do you guys expect to see next week against the Ravens? Like, what's your prediction in a way? And also, what's one thing that happened in the NFL this week that was like a what the fuck moment to you guys?
I mean, for me, I think we're coming home, right? We're coming home, and I think season opener. You know, I think we can certainly take an ugly game. You know, I mean, I think I'm being a homer right now, so I'm gonna pick us to win the game. You know, in ugly fashion, like we kind of been doing. I think the most surprising thing for me this week was, you know, the guy I just mentioned, Trey Lance, you know, injuring his foot, and Jimmy Garoppolo coming back. And I think those guys, man, they kind of like dodged a bullet, because it's like, yo, you guys were trying to do Garoppolo dirty, and now, you know,
Still
you
doing
got to
him
rely
dirty.
on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen.
Right now they fuck with him now, John. Now they want to
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, yo, Trey Lance, even the school he came out of, I'm like, man, you guys. When he got drafted, I laughed. You know, we were on live, and when they drafted him, I was laughing. I was like, what the hell?
Oh, damn.
You know, I couldn't. Yeah, I was like, wait, you traded all those picks for Trey Lance? You know, not that, you know, I knew much about him, but I knew he came out of a small school, and I knew he didn't start very many games. And I'm like, that's a big leap. You know, if this guy, you know, doesn't pan out, this is like a pretty big, it's going to be a big problem. And I mean, he's out for the year, you know. He didn't start last year. You know, he started a couple games, and he starts 2 games this year, and he's already out for the year. So it's not looking good, man. You know, even if he does come back next year, it's like, you know, when stuff like this happens to quarterbacks, man, usually, you know, there's a confidence thing there that just happens. And I don't know what's going to happen with that. But for me, that was it.
Yeah, so for myself, as far as the prediction on the game next week, whether I think the Pats can win, I think it will be a close game. I think they, you know, will be competitive in the game, but I think they'll, you know, come up short. But as John was saying, I think they will come out ready to play and being fired up and hyped up, being, you know, the home opener in the first game, you know, this season at Gillette in front of, you know, the home crowd and their fans. I think, you know, the team will, you know what I'm saying, will be ready to go, and will, you know, at least don't expect that they'll come up, you know, have a slow start, you know, like they did in week 1 against Miami. I think they'll, you know, play hard and compete. And I think, you know, Bob Jackson will, you know what I'm saying, get his yards and, you know, and get like a couple touchdowns and do his thing. But I don't think he'll go crazy. I think we can, you know, his defense can at least do enough to keep him in check and not let him, you know, go off like, you know, he's capable of doing, and like we've seen him do, you know, against us before. But yeah, I think they'll end up coming up short. You know, but I think it'll be like a 1 possession game. You know, yeah, it'll be a pretty close game coming down, you know, to the last few minutes. But I think, you know, the Pats will, will come up short in that game, and unfortunately will end up, you know, losing. But I hope they prove me wrong. You know, against the Ravens next week. We'll see what happens with that. And what the fuck moment?
What the fuck moment?
Yeah, right. This week there was a lot of crazy moments, but I think the one thing that stood out to me was, you know, the Colts not only losing but getting shut out.
Oh my God.
I think that was the part, what the fuck moment. It's like, remember, guys, this was the same Jaguars team that in week 18 last year against the Colts, all they had to do was win against the Jaguars, and they would have been in the playoffs. They would have gotten that playoff spot, and Pittsburgh wouldn't have been in the playoffs had the Colts won that game, since they controlled their own destiny. and they ended up getting their asses kicked by the Jaguars. So you would think that, okay, the Colts are clearly the better team, pretty much on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, especially. And, they certainly, would have the upper hand in that matchup and would think they would be more motivated to avenge that loss and to, be able to get a win against the Jaguars. You think that's a game they should easily be able to, to win and come up victorious. And shoot, not only did you lose, you even played worse than you did in last year against Week 8 in the Week 18 when you had bum-ass Carson Wentz as your quarterback, when you had that scrub as your quarterback, and you didn't put up any points this week against Jacksonville, like 0. Like, how the hell do you get shut out by Jacksonville out of all teams with all that talent you have on that team, particularly on offense? I get Michael Pittman did get injured in that game, but still, like, even with that being said, like, you've got to be able to at least score. Like, that Ryan's a bit of a Carson Wentz and should be able to at least help, take your offense, move the ball and get some points. It's like you shouldn't be getting shut out by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, that's just inexcusable, and that's definitely a what the fuck moment because, like, yeah, that shouldn't be happening. That's just flat out embarrassing and humiliating. Like, unbelievable. I couldn't believe that when I saw the score of that game and saw that Colts didn't even score a damn point, not even a field goal. Like, that shit's just insane. Unreal.
Thank you guys for sharing. I said it before, I don't see us winning this week. I definitely don't see us winning this week. I think I mean, it's only the third week, so I'm not sure what to make of the defense of the Ravens, but I know the Ravens usually have a good defense. So we'll see what happens. I know we have a good defense ourselves, and we can possibly slow down their offense, but I just don't see us being able to keep up on offense, with the offense of the Ravens. I just think Lamar Jackson is going to be too much, and I just don't see us winning that game. If we squeak it out, man, maybe, but I just don't see that. But, yeah, my wonderful moment is what Barry just said. I was just like, what? Like, I was like, I thought y'all bought Matt Ryan for a reason. Like, I thought Matt Ryan came in to make the team better. Like, I was just shocked. Like, you got shot up. He
lost his mojo or something?
Like you got shot up by the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't lose. Like, you didn't score anything. So that was surprising to me. But there was.
And you have Jonathan Taylor as your running back. What arguably the best running back in football.
Yeah, that was.
He can't score one touchdown.
Yeah. Hey, I made him my number one pick, so that wasn't nice at all.
But this whole week,
damn, John, sorry to hear that, bro. Sorry to hear that, man. Damn, that's a bad hit.
This whole week's been crazy, though. It's just the way the Cardinals won, the way the
Dolphins won.
The Dolphins won. Just everything. It's just been crazy. So.
Listen, Jacksonville won. The Lions are two of the highest scoring offenses
the
in the
Jets
NFL
won.
so far.
Right,
the Jets won with Joe Flacco. The Packers.
The Packers
they haven't looked good, but they played the Bears. So it's like,
and remember, Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears.
He does. But it hasn't. It's not the most regular start to a season so far. I can definitely say that. And there's been some pretty crazy surprises, and we'll see. What happened if everything corrects itself, and people start looking like themselves. But I mean, I kind of like it. I want to see the Lions do some stuff. I want to see Jacksonville start winning some games. But It's definitely a weird season so far. I mean, the Bengals, dude. They what?
Right, they lost to
now?
the Cowboys without Dak Prescott. With Cooper Rush.
Yeah, that's
Cooper
crazy.
Rush actually won a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
that's crazy. He's not been that good, John. I think he's trash, honestly. Cooper Rush. I don't think he's that good.
I don't think he's trash. I think he made timely plays when he's needed to, you know, and I think they had a good game plan around him running the ball, you know, not having the, you know, they didn't put the game in his hands the whole game. And I think they have the right game plan for him to actually be successful. You know what I'm saying? So, and, you know, the plays he made, he looked really confident to me, you know, making
he did make some throws.
I'm like, yo, you know, he made some throws. Absolutely. So, you know, we'll see what happens with Cooper Rush, but hey, they're 1-0 under him so far, so we can't really,
which is
we can't really knock the guy.
He ends up winning the first game against the Bengals, right,
against a Super Bowl playing team. So you know, you can't really be too hard on him. You know what I'm saying?
That's true, and it's like, then what the hell's going on in Las Vegas? Like, what's up with these Raiders? Like, they freaking just flat out choked and shit the bed. They shit on themselves.
Yeah. I think
like, what is Josh McDaniels doing out there?
The Josh McDaniels stats are coming out already. He's 11-9 as a head coach. I'm seeing so far, right? And that's never good. And they had that game, man. All they had to do was close it out. And they have guys on
couldn't finish, right? They couldn't finish.
They have guys on defense, and they couldn't finish it. So
and they couldn't get a stop. All they had to do was get one stop, John, and they couldn't even do that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Man, that's a brutal and awful loss. Awful. Like that.
Absolutely.
That's really bad. Like that's. I know it's only 2 games in, but that's a rough and really horrific start for that team. That team should not be 0-2. That's too good of a football team and too many good players to be 0-2 right now at this point in time. And
like you said, man, it's early in the season. It's only 2 weeks in, and you know, like I said earlier, we'll see if everything, you know, figures itself out. And, you know, things start to look normal again. But if you're still watching, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. Make sure you're liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. Make sure you're also following us on social media. It's @ProFanSports on everything except for Instagram. That's @ProFans_sports. You know, we didn't have a guest this week, but hopefully next week our guest is able to come in and, you know, we go back to our regularly scheduled program. But until then, man, we'll see y'all in the next episode.
Peace out.
Peace out, everyone. Have a good week. See y'all next week.